Hey everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of Game Explain's predictions for 2021. As you can see, we've actually made it to day 2 of 2021. It's looking good. I can't believe we survived through 2020 and we're continuing to live in this new era where things are just happier and feel better in general. Anyways, as I said, we already touched on everything we know about coming up in 2021 in our past discussion, including some things that, we may not fully know, like Pokemon's 25th anniversary. But this time, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of our specific predictions for things that we don't know about. Like, these may or may not happen, we really don't know. But some of it may tie into larger events that probably will happen, such as Zelda's 35th anniversary. So again, this has not been confirmed, Nintendo said nothing about this, but given the fact they had a huge anniversary for Mario's 35th and how successful that was based on Mario 3D, the Mario 3D Collection sales, I think it's safe to assume that this probably will happen. But before we get into it, real quick, does anyone think Nintendo won't do anything for Zelda's 35th anniversary?
Won't?
No? Are we all on the same page? Okay, good.
They do things for Zelda every year. I don't see how this year could be an exception.
So we already touched on whether or not we thought Breath of the Wild 2 would release this year. I think we were a little conflicted on this. Some thought it would, some thought maybe, the following year, if I remember correctly. We just recorded that, but I'm already forgetting. But now I want to know is what else are we expecting as part of this anniversary, possibly? Assuming whether or not Breath of the Wild 2 shows up. What do we think we'll see here? So, Chris, I imagine you might have a prediction for us. What do you think?
Sure. Okay, putting Breath of the Wild 2 aside, that may or may not release this year. It's hard to know. But my prediction for Zelda's 35th anniversary is an HD remaster of Skyward Sword. I might like something else, like maybe a collection of some of the other titles, I'm not sure, but I do predict that I think a Skyward Sword remaster would be most likely. That tied into Zelda's 25th anniversary, I believe it was, and it could do wonders on the Switch with, updated motion controls, and it's already 2 generations back, so it's old enough, I think, to warrant a remake or at least a remaster.
And
so
it's
I think
10 years this year.
10 years, exactly. So I think it's enough time. I think Skyward Sword HD or just Skyward Sword Switch would be really cool.
That is kind of fitting. It is the only 3D Zelda outside of Breath of the Wild now that hasn't been remade or ported or put in HD. So that would be the obvious one because they skipped over it with all the other remakes on Wii U. So that'd be neat. I'd be down for that. I've been wanting to replay that game too. That's actually the reason why I've been holding off, because I've been afraid there might be an HD version the moment I finish the Wii one. Like, darn, I should have waited. So
that's why it wasn't part of the Zelda game club that we recently did. I'm pretty sure it wasn't part of the nominations because we all kind of had that feeling we might be seeing Skyward Sword again kind of soon. So,
what do you think, Joey? You're a Skyward Sword fan, right?
Oh, yes, I am. And that's partly why I'm holding off. But another part was because I was too darn busy with Oracle of Ages and Seasons, which I will never play again. But I hope that we do get a Skyward Sword HD. But I think, and this is my 35th anniversary prediction, I really do think it's more likely we will see remasters. The remasters released on Wii of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and they'll be put on the Switch. Yeah.
That is actually my prediction. So my prediction is almost the opposite of Chris's, that, like Joey, I actually predict we won't get Skyward Sword. I think they're going to pull a Mario here, which is we'll get a Zelda 3D collection. It will consist of basically the first 3 Zelda games minus Majora's Mask. So it would be Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. And I think in the latter two's case, it would also, this might be a little out there. I predict we'll get the original versions, the original N64 versions, or sorry, not 64, the original console versions, GameCube and Wii in that case, and 64 in Ocarina's case. But we'll also get the remake, so we'll get the HD ones as well, because they did have some slight differences. And that would also mean we're going to get the 3D version of Ocarina of Time 3D. Obviously not in 3D now, but I think they may go bold here. They may include the original versions, upgraded for HD, and also the actual HD versions that were properly upgraded for HD. So, probably unnecessary, but yeah.
Here's the only reason why I disagree with you on that. Does it take effort to port? Yes, then it's not going to happen.
I know. I mean, I honestly do think that if we don't get all of them, I think it would be the HD versions, which would be a little complicated for Ocarina. I think in that case, we would get the original version, probably not the 3D one. But the cool thing is, in a way, is the HD versions for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess were already made to work with a gamepad. These games would require minimal use to be upgraded for the Switch.
Yep.
That's a downside, though, is what I loved about the HD versions, Wind Waker in particular, is how it made use of the gamepad. One of the few games I would say was bettered by the gamepad, and that wouldn't exist here on the Switch. So, where you could equip items in real time, or it gave you something to do when you were sailing the boat, for instance. So, it would be a slight step back for me playing it on the Switch.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it'll happen. Specifically, getting the Wii U ports or the Wii U HD remakes on Switch. So Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, but I do think unfortunately they will be somewhat lacking compared to the Wii U versions, just because they don't have the use of a second screen, which they managed to work really well.
They'll be somewhat lacking, I think. I don't think I'll miss them too much, to be honest. The touchscreen controls.
It'll be more of like a would have been neat, but I'll still largely enjoy the games. I know it, but I'm gonna try. I'm actually gonna one up you here, Andre, with my predictions. Because I think what we could get, and this is more specifically of what I want to see as a major Zelda fan. This is what I want to see. Do I think it's likely? That is just up in the air. But I think we can see two collections: a collection of specifically Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D coupled together, put on Switch. So basically more like the original console versions, but the changes and graphical upgrades are there, so they don't have the second touchscreen thing. That'll have to be a menu once again. And then this other collection will be Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, and it'll be Skyward Sword, but the only change it'll have will be like Mario Galaxy, where it's just the controls are kind of reworked to work with the Switch and motion controls. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, there will be like no change to Skyward Sword.
Right. That's my concern with Skyward Sword. I like the idea. Hey, I'll take all the collections I can get. My biggest concern with Skyward Sword, and I wonder if it factors in at all, is because while most of the tech in the Switch is more advanced than the Wii, the one thing it is missing is a pointer. Now they have. Skyward Sword doesn't strictly use a pointer. In fact, it doesn't really at all as a pointer. It uses the gyro for the pointer. The one thing the sensor bar did do for the Wii version of Skyward Sword was it let you recalibrate it without you even thinking about it. Every time the Wii remote saw the pointer, it knew you were facing forward. The Switch has no way of doing that, and that's why in games like Mario Galaxy or Pikmin 3, you have to constantly recalibrate the cursor. So that's my concern with Skyward Sword on Switch, is that sword may not match up with your actual hand position constantly, and it's something you have to mentally keep in mind to adjust on the fly, which could be a little annoying. Do I think it would necessarily prevent it? No. But given the fact that we've already missed out on Mario Galaxy 2, that's why I do wonder if maybe Nintendo wouldn't re-release Skyward Sword.
The other reason why I think both of these collections would happen is because there's precedence for this already. Back on the GameCube, before Wind Waker came out, there was the version. It was either the version of Wind Waker or the Zelda Mecha Collection that came with a re-release of Ocarina of Time that came with Master Quest, and there was the Zelda Mecha Collection, which had Zelda 1, Adventure of Link, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask, all on, and a 20-minute demo for Wind Waker. So I think because there's already the precedence for Zelda to have collections in the past. Not that Mario didn't have that precedence, but Zelda's already done it with games that they likely would end up re-releasing collections now. That's why I think it actually is kind of likely that we could see either one of these or even both of these.
I could see that happening. I was thinking about it, but in the present day, I kind of see Wind Waker and Twilight Princess almost having more value on Switch.
Yeah.
So unless they are really feeling generous with the collection, but it's like a full price collection, it won't be like how that one was relatively low key back in the day. And I think it just, what was it, bundled with something, or was it like Nintendo Rewards?
I don't remember how that one originally came out.
It was a pre-order bonus.
It was a pre-order bonus?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
sure.
At least, I guess if you were paying full
what?
price for it, it could happen.
Yeah. I mean, at the least, I think there will be some kind of collection, or re-release. I don't know what, but I think a collection probably makes most sense given the success of Mario 3D, 3D All-Stars. I think Nintendo would be foolish not to try and recreate that with Zelda. And if it includes Skyward Sword too, hey, I'm there for that. That'd be great. So we'll see though, and I hope, Chris, I hope we do get Skyward Sword HD in some form. So
yeah. And And not because I just breaking it up so it's digestible here, and we can actually talk about them. We don't know what Grezzo's been doing since they finished Link's Awakening back in 2019. And as we brought up during Game Club, it is the 20th anniversary of the Oracle games now. So I do think we could see, or I want to see, a re-release of the Oracle games, whether it's upgraded like Link's Awakening was to the same kind of graphic capabilities, and actually like putting both games in one cartridge and just like in the main menu swapping between them or something. I don't know how exactly they would go about it, but I think if there's any Capcom Zelda game that we could see this year get any sort of attention outside of the main 3D Zelda games, this would be it.
I
think
prefer a new
Minish Cap.
2D Zelda.
Yeah, I think if we're talking Capcom games specifically, I think Minish Cap are probably if that were the paradigm or the rules that we're looking at. I think Minish Cap is like the one that people always go to as like being like one of the greatest, or maybe not one of the greatest, but like a really good Zelda game. And it was made by Capcom.
Yeah.
I think so. So that would be. I mean, so your proposal makes a lot of sense. They already have the engine. They could reuse some of the assets, just as Oracle of Ages and Seasons used those assets in. I'm sorry, I'm confusing myself now. Just as no, actually, yeah, just as Oracle of Ages and Seasons used the assets from Link's Awakening. The issue though is Ages and Seasons just weren't that good these days to me.
Yeah. No, I know.
And I think also, if it did happen, I think it would either be that or the collection. I don't think both happen. That would be, especially Breath of the Wild 2 is this year. I don't think we're seeing.
That's a little too much
separate,
Zelda.
Yeah, it's a little too much Zelda. And I feel like after I mean, you know, it's hard to say because if the Oracle Ages and Seasons ports were already being made, I don't think they would let that prevent a potential 3D collection necessarily, given how quickly that was to throw together. Mario, based on the leaks, seemed to have been a 6-month development cycle, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just don't see it happening. I think those games would take too much work for them to be modernized. And
That's
so
fair.
I'm thinking we'll only see a Zelda 3D collection in terms of remakes and updates. But
That's fair.
I'd be happy to be wrong.
Plus, I think Grezzo, which is the same company I was just talking about, I think Grezzo was the one to make the Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D. So
Right.
they would probably help with porting those, if those are part of a collection.
Possibly. I think, did Nerd handle, I know Nerd handles the emulation for Nintendo games, but I don't know if they
that's
handle
true.
the actual, I don't know how much they're actually with the entire package.
Well, those would need to be reworked, though, since you don't have the dual screen of a 3DS. So those would actually need a little more
true,
effort put
yeah.
into them.
There would be,
But,
indeed.
yeah.
I guess no, you're right. Well, even though I just said there may not be a whole lot of other Zelda games, I'm actually going to immediately undermine myself. Because while I don't think there may be much in the way of other full-scale Zelda adventures beyond Breath of the Wild 2 and some kind of port collection,
Yep.
I do think one of the reasons why Mario 35 is going away is to make room for Zelda 35. I think we're going to see a top-down, Zelda multiplayer game online, and I think it'd be really fun where one of our fans had the idea where it could be maybe like a dungeon, almost like a randomized dungeon thing, where it takes different rooms of dungeons, groups them together. I thought that could be interesting. I myself would love to see the overworld incorporated in some way. Whatever they end up doing, I think it could be a lot of fun. It's something very different for the the 35 or 99 collection of games.
Yeah.
Well, what
Yeah.
could you could collect rupees, number of enemies slain. I don't know, like beating a dungeon itself. Like, I guess there's different ways they could go about this.
Right? There's multiple things they could do. Beating the boss could give you like a big time boost, for instance, in the dungeon. So I can just imagine but in Mario 35 they already have it where if you beat Bowser he'll pop up in other people's games. But beating the dragon in Zelda, like the first dungeon even, that would be a big barrier. You could just have bosses popping up randomly in different rooms of your dungeon. That could be really fun, I think.
I was gonna say even dropping off Lionels in other people's.
Lionels could be jerks even back then.
I was gonna say, as much as I do love this idea, as soon as you started saying this, the first thing that came to mind was, while this would definitely be cool and challenging with Zelda 1, I would love to see this done specifically with Link to the Past. I don't know why, that's just what came to mind.
I love Link to the Past art style. I was actually bummed when they changed Four Swords Adventures from the Link to the Past sprite to the Minish Cap sprite. I'm like, oh, they should have stuck with the original, but I loved how that looked. So hey, I'm down for it. I'll take a Link to the Past 35 too. But I mean, I think it makes sense for them to go with the original game based on the 35th anniversary and So we'll see. But yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say this prediction saddens me though because it means I couldn't see if they had this if there'd be something like Zelda Maker, because I couldn't see like 2 8-bit Zeldas coming out in 1 year. So that's why I'm sad. This is like a more realistic prediction that would actually happen.
I want Zelda Maker so bad. I want that literally more than almost anything. So that bums me out too, because you're right. I don't think I would be happy though. I would happily give up Zelda 35 for a Zelda Maker 2. Or sorry, Zelda Maker. Yeah, I'll take Zelda Maker 2. Just skip right to 2. Yeah, exactly. It's so great. Any other Zelda predictions for the 35th anniversary? I've got a few more. All right. I was
gonna say quick. There will be a soundtrack CD with orchestrated music.
Oh, please.
That's probably realistic. I mean, they already had the Symphony of the Goddess concerts for a while, so they've gone big on the.
That was awesome.
Still need to go to one. I
Me
never
too.
got to.
I think I went to one of them. I forget which one, but it was super cool. Yeah, it was down in San Jose, I think. It was neat. I'm glad I went. But while I don't know if I agree with the soundtrack, I think this could be the year we finally get news of a Zelda Netflix show. I think this could be it. Finally it's been rumored forever now, and rumors recently resurfaced not too long ago. I think this could be it, where we're finally gonna get, if not like a full reveal, like at least confirmation. Yeah, it's happening.
Congratulations, Andre. You took Summon's prediction.
Do you have ideas on like what it would follow? Would it be an original story? Do you think it would follow a specific game? Live action, animated? I'm curious your thoughts on this if you're predicting this.
I know I'm not Andre, but I want to answer this. I think it's going to be an original type story, obviously with elements based on previous past Zelda stories, but yeah, I don't see them doing like a shot for shot like storytelling of Breath of the Wild or Ocarina of Time. I don't see that happening at all. And
how would you even do a shot for shot remake of Breath of the Wild?
so many just back shots of Link just running,
just Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's like Lord of the Rings. They're just walking across the mountains, but for like a whole season.
Yep,
a whole season.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I love it. No music or minimal music. That'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. There's so much opportunity there. Like the Zelda universe is so rich with story, but most of the games don't necessarily excel at the story, which is why I think I'm really excited for our Netflix show, where they can really delve in deep on how to present this really like rich world in a way that's like narratively focused. And I mean, I don't know exactly how you would go about it. Like it would have to follow Link. I think it would have to follow like his adventure. But yeah, how exactly do you make that a compelling thing to watch? You know, like is he just going dungeon to dungeon? I don't think they could quite go that route. So, well, I don't know.
Because what comes to mind for me is two things. Either you make it live action like The Witcher, or you make an adaptation of the manga. The manga of either Twilight Princess, which is the longest ongoing one because it's an actual manga instead of condensing the entire game down to 1 or 2 volumes. I think they're on volume 8 now. I don't even know if they're done.
They're still going? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it's still going, and it's dark. Like
I heard Link loses an arm in it.
Yeah, in the first volume, that's how they explained his Ordon outfit, how like needing this area like stitched up because he loses an arm and then he wakes up and it's back. He's like, "What? Did I lose it? I don't know."
I need to read this.
it's really cool, but I think if they did a Zelda like Netflix show, I think it would be an anime adaptation of a manga. And I think the best place to start would be the Twilight Princess one, because that's the most ongoing one and the longest one. They have the most material to pull from without filling in their own things.
I still think they're going to do it original if they are going to do
that's
it.
Fair.
But yeah.
I think honestly, Tris, I think your idea might be on the money. I think adapting the manga might make sense, like particularly with the fact we've already had anime shows on Netflix and Netflix originals like Castlevania.
Yep.
And I actually just watched how do you say, the Princess Mononoke last night for the first time. Never seen it before, and very Breath of the Wildish at points. So you can already kind of see the form a Zelda anime could take. Although I don't know, I don't know if they would. There's no Breath of the Wild manga yet, right?
No.
Triss? Okay, yeah.
Nope.
So, but they could still like use a similar style for like one of the other mangas. So you can already start envisioning how it would look. My hope would be I would prefer to see live action. Although, I mean, I'd be fine with it in any form. I think I've always just wanted to see like Zelda presented like in a movie like form, and I think that'd be fun to see it on Netflix, like in the style of The Witcher. So just dial it back a bit.
I want to see a live action too. Like I wouldn't mind if it was animated, but I like live action stuff more. So that's just
fair.
how I
Yeah. It'd be a lot harder to get right if it was live action, but if they did, it would be so much like on a way higher level. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
It'd be incredible.
Oh,
The
yes.
soundtrack and just making it full on cinematic. Oh.
That's it. I've always wanted to hear the Zelda theme in like a theatrical like setting.
Yes.
And even if I can't see it in a theater, I just want that general vibe, right? I want to hear
Yes.
like, yeah, that's what I need. I need that in my veins. Make it happen, Netflix. You got the budget. You can do it.
I don't feel like those Netflix rumors from 2015 came out of nowhere. I really don't think they
There
came out of
probably were
nowhere.
talks. Yeah, I'm sure there's been discussions at some point, if not actively right now. So here's hoping. All right, I got another big prediction here for Zelda 35th.
Okay, I was gonna
What?
say if it's still Zelda, yeah.
It's still Zelda. We're not leaving Zelda
Okay,
yet.
good. Okay, good,
I think
good.
I mean, in a broader sense, I think Nintendo's gonna go big on Zelda. I think
Yeah.
they went fairly big on Mario. I think they could go even bigger with Zelda. Especially what they have, Breath of the Wild 2 coming up. Breath of the Wild is huge. So I think they may go all in. And I actually have two game predictions. I'll start off with the lamer one. Okay. I think we're finally going to see the Zelda mobile game that's been rumored forever. I don't think we had a new mobile game from Nintendo this past year. They just built on the existing ones. I think it's time for them to introduce a new one.
The last
Right,
one was
Triss?
Mario Kart Tour, and I feel like they actually said they weren't going to be making any other. I don't remember when this came out, but I feel like sometime after Mario Kart Tour, they said they weren't going to be focusing on making new ones for a while.
I could be
continuing
misremembering.
with
I
them.
thought that was misinterpreted. I think that isn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. I don't know. There were rumors though from like Wall Street Journal, or like not rumors, like they were reporting that Nintendo like was working on the Zelda mobile game. So I think this will be the year we see it. I have no idea how that's going to turn out. I don't even know where you would begin with the Zelda mobile game. Maybe like randomized dungeons or different challenges each day. I'm not quite sure. It'd be weird. But my other more exciting game idea.
Well, hold on.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Just because the mobile one, that ties into Miyamoto's comments where he was still working on mobile games, and
Good
Joey's
point.
like,
That's
"Don't
true.
waste your time," and like we're all like in agreement. But if it was Zelda,
True.
you can use your time on that we're fine.
Go
Please
ahead.
make it good. Yep. All right. My real game prediction though is we're going to see Zelda and rabbits.
Oh no!
Or Zelda plus rabbits. I really enjoyed Mario plus rabbits. I think seeing Zelda incorporated into the setting could be just as fun. Seeing like the Zelda characters with this cartoony, fun art style. Especially, with it being an RPG, Mario had delved in that too with Mario RPG. Zelda has as well, to some extent, as Zelda 2. So I think it'd be fun for it to kind of like come back full circle.
Yeah,
And we've already seen them do crossovers with Donkey Kong as well. So, yeah.
I would rather they do that than a Mario and Rabbids 2. Like, I'm done with the Mario world. Like, let the rabbits invade somewhere else, or let the development studio, let Ubisoft, what was it? Ubisoft Milan, I think? I could be totally wrong there. Or Ubisoft Paris. I don't remember. But I'd rather they take on another Nintendo franchise. I don't want them to keep doing Mario Rabbids. Just make it... It doesn't even have to be Rabbids. Like, do something creative with another Nintendo franchise. Mario Rabbids I've had my fill of.
Agreed.
It's Grant
Anything
Kirk
else?
Hope doing the music.
Ooh.
I hope so.
I think that'd be interesting to hear his take on Zelda. I would
Yeah.
actually kind of love that. So,
Yeah.
It was-
Sorry. No. Go ahead.
no, I'm done.
Okay, great. Because mine's sort of just like not about the music, but still about this. How would it? It's interesting to think about how it would be incorporated, because when I think like what would look best when merging Zelda with the Rabbids, I would imagine probably maybe the Wind Waker art style.
Yeah.
But like they could just go, I guess, Breath of the Wild, or maybe. Gosh, I don't know. The rabbits would be so short compared to them.
I
They
don't
probably
want to
go
see Rabbit or
cartoon
Bosa. I don't want to see
Yeah,
Rabbit or
it's-
Bosa. Please don't do that.
Do it.
Very weird.
I dare
Yeah,
you.
I think they go more like the chibi style, so like Wind Waker or
Yeah.
Minish Cap or something, or Wind Waker being 3D makes the most sense, I think. So
Well, I see them doing like a sort of Hyrule Warriors art style, but more cartoony, more kiddish, I would say, like a little more colorful than Hyrule Warriors is already a pretty colorful game, but I don't see like chibi Link or anything. I picture something that looks kind of like Twilight Princess Link, but more colorful and less gritty, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like the original Hyrule Warriors art style. I could see that.
Yes.
Or
Does
Skyward
anyone-
Sword's art style, maybe.
Does
Exactly.
anyone else think this might actually happen, though?
I kind of want it more the more we talk about it.
Honestly.
I would be very interested and intrigued, but I also am a little tired of the Rabbids myself, so it's like, I'll take it if we get it, but I'm not personally hoping for it.
Right.
Just happy to see that David Solani, if he would be working on another Nintendo property, really. But
Yeah.
Any other Zelda predictions for the 35th anniversary?
I do think we're going to see a Zelda Lego set.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because
D-
the Mario
make your
one
own
was been
dungeon?
pretty big.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be nice. I don't know what Zelda it would be based on, mind you, since Mario's it seems more grounded in 2D Mario stuff. I have no idea where they would ground the Zelda one. I doubt we're going to get a Breath of the Wild Lego set, but that could be cool too.
Full scale Hyrule and Lego.
Yeah,
form. 10 million Legos.
But I think they could do a lot with Zelda Lego set, and I think it would probably be closer to traditional Lego sets or like the Lego NES than the Mario one. So I don't think it would have the whole the screen and Link like it does with Mario.
Right.
But I think though they could make something really interesting, even if it's just releasing official sets of scale models of iconic locations from Zelda games.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
That'd be
Mario
awesome.
seemed to be a big success, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if they continue that relationship. And that'd be a good way, another good way to celebrate Zelda 35th. So, any other predictions for the 35th? Okay, let's go ahead and move
Officially
on.
for Zelda.
Sorry.
I said officially done with Zelda there. There
Exactly.
we go.
There's a lot to cover there. All right, let's move on to. There is another anniversary though happening this year. Slightly lesser known, and I think it probably won't get nearly as much attention, but I think it's a possibility Nintendo could celebrate it, and that is Donkey Kong is turning 40 this year. Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary, and I think Nintendo might celebrate in two ways. And that's because we have seen a bit of a renewed focus on Donkey Kong. We recently had the re-release of Tropical Freeze. Not that it was a huge deal, though it should be, because that game's amazing. But the Super Nintendo World is getting a whole Donkey Kong section, both in at least Japan and Orlando, it seems, whenever they build that one. And we even saw it in the app recently that there were data mined icons for Donkey Kong in it. And I think this is for I think that might be tie into like Nintendo's future plans for Donkey Kong. And I have two ideas for this. One, we are going to get Donkey Kong 21. What this is basically a sequel to Donkey Kong 94. It's essentially an updated version of the original Donkey Kong. Like, it'd be a fun little thing released on Nintendo Switch Online. It may not necessarily be an online-focused game, but it would be a perk for subscribing. And it would just be like a fully updated version of Donkey Kong. New levels, like new gameplay mechanics, and but it's still that same classic, barrel hopping, barrel dodging gameplay. And I think that could be a lot of fun.
That is a grade A prediction, and I'm mad I didn't think of it myself. That sounds like a really cool idea. Like, wow, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I want it now. It's possible it could
Right.
not happen, of course, but given Nintendo's history with games like Mario 35, I feel like this would make sense. I don't know if you mentioned this. Did you say it would be a limited time game, or would it be like?
I
all
didn't.
out?
It probably would be, knowing Nintendo, but whether it is or it isn't, I think I hope it happens.
If Donkey Kong is turning 40, doesn't that mean technically Mario is 40 also?
It does. Jumpman turning 40. That's
Yep.
right. I know.
I think-
Yep.
And going in line with Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary, I do think, and this is a small thing, but you saying that completely reminded me how in 2020 they added Funky Kong and Dixie Kong to Mario Kart Tour as a way to celebrate a Donkey Kong anniversary. So I can see them adding Cranky Kong to Mario
Yeah.
Kart.
That'd be
Yes.
great. Even older now.
Yeah.
He's the
Crankiest
OG
Kong.
Donkey Kong too.
Yeah.
Well,
Is he
they
is
added
he still canon?
they added
Going by
DK
canon?
Jr. For Super Mario Kart's anniversary, but
Right. So I had toyed with the idea of maybe them making a Donkey Kong 99, but I don't see it unless they completely re-envision it. Just because I don't think that would be that fun, like just dodging 1,000 barrels in a row from from everyone else. So yeah, I'm really hoping for an updated Donkey Kong. But my second prediction is that there would actually be a brand new mainline Donkey Kong game, brand new mainline like Donkey Kong Country style game, either in 2D or 3D. I don't know, maybe 3D. And that would be like could be their big focus for this year, or a big focus for this year.
I would love that so much. Like,
Yep.
I feel like Donkey Kong's just been neglected since Tropical Freeze, and like they need a new. It would be sad if Retro's not making it because they're working on Metroid, unless they made it and they've been sitting on it for years. So
Right, it's been done.
yeah, so that would be awesome. I would love a 3D platforming type of Donkey Kong game. I guess this is also my prediction. If I were to predict anything Donkey Kong related happening this year, it's sort of pie in the sky. It's probably 99% not going to happen, but I would love a 3D platforming Donkey Kong game. Like, obviously, a little less excessive.
64-2.
What was that?
DK 64-2.
DK 128. Here we go, boys and girls. But yeah, maybe not make it as excessive as 60. It's tedious, excessive.
Extra, not as extra.
Yeah, I'm so glad I have nostalgia for that game because I'm like totally blind to its faults. But yeah,
This just occurred to me. What if Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury adds Donkey Kong
That's an interesting idea.
to tie into that
Whoa.
too?
That would be fun.
that would be so fun.
Cool.
I'd be down with that. I don't care if it doesn't make sense or not. That'd be a fun way of
Like that
incorporating
just
it.
hit me. It's like I could kind of see them doing that actually,
Yep.
as a really weird, like no one could have predicted this kind of thing, but it also would tie into that kind of anniversary as well,
That's
and
true.
it would just be something fun and silly to do.
Wait,
I hope the
is-
game.
Sorry, I was gonna say,
I-
is Donkey Kong gonna wear the cat suit or?
That would be so awesome.
It's a
I hope
question.
Game Explain quotes that aged well is watching this.
Because it comes to mind because as we mentioned the Mario and Rabbids, there was that whole DK expansion that game got.
Right.
So there's some sort of precedence for a Mario game getting a DK expansion to it. So
You could see Donkey Kong and Bowser go head to head.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
there we
that
go.
would be fun. That'd be a
Like,
cool team.
not even really seeing that. That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
I do also think though a new 3D platformer Donkey Kong game would be just as great. Like
Yeah.
I would love to see more Nintendo franchises represented in the form of 3D platformers. It's basically just Mario right now in terms of what's still active
Right.
as a 3D platformer. And I think 3D platformers are great and they can be great. Donkey Kong would work really well for that, and I'd love to see more focus on that.
Still
I think, yeah.
holding out for that F-Zero 3D platformer.
Yep.
There we go. All right, let's move on to other predictions then. Who wants to step up for us? Who's got a prediction ready to roll? All right,
can.
Triss. Go for it.
I think we haven't seen the end of Mario's 35th anniversary, and I think we're still going to see a Mario sports game by Camelot. Camelot, known for alternating very frequently between Mario Tennis, then Mario Golf. And we haven't had a Mario Golf game in over 6 years at this point. Mario Golf World Tour came out in 2014, 15?
Yep.
And yeah, it's been a while.
Remember when they made Golden Sun?
Yeah. Most don't, but yeah.
I actually had that prediction too, Triss. Not specifically golf, but I think that makes a lot of sense. Also, apparently Aces, if I looked at the right numbers, I believe that's the most successful Mario sports game to date, minus the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games. So it would be silly not to follow that up with the other one of the more popular Mario sports being golf.
Exactly.
I'd be down for that, especially because you could do like full swings of the Joy-Con, like you could
Yeah.
with the Wii remote.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So I think we're overdue for another Mario sports game, and that could be just a lot of fun, both for multiplayer and online and all that. So
as much as I
Strikers.
would love Strikers or baseball, Mario Golf is the other series that Camelot is known for in terms of Mario sports. It's always tennis and golf from them. I think
Exactly.
I think it was Next Level Games that does Strikers, and
Yeah.
it's Bandai Namco that does baseball.
And it has been 2
yeah.
years since Aces, so
Yep.
over 2 years. So yeah, that's
Yep.
plenty of time to start work or get finish up a Mario sports game. So I would think.
Hopefully.
And regarding Strikers, I almost feel like Next Level Games, unless they expand it, it's almost too good now to just be put on another Strikers.
How
Instead of
dare
second
you.
team. Like, I know. Well, like, they're going to be working on... They worked on Luigi's Mansion. Unfortunately, they didn't do Federation Force.
Oh, no.
But, it's like a penance. But anyway, I wonder if Nintendo will give them an even bigger challenge coming up.
I still think they need more time to work on their next game. Because
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion was about a year and a few months ago, so they'll
Yeah, they're
probably
gonna-
have to...
Yeah, I agree with that, Joey.
All right. Another prediction. Joey, you got one for us?
There was another anniversary coming this
man.
year. It's Bayonetta's 12th anniversary. I'm just kidding. I'm treading dangerous ground whenever I talk about anything Metroid. We already established Part 1. Prime 4 is not coming out this year, but God, we need something, please. Like, Nintendo, I really feel like they can't just keep Metroid silent until Prime 4 comes out. They have to gauge interest in Prime 4 somehow. And there's two ways they can do this year. One is the Prime Trilogy HD, obviously. Yeah. Where is it? Where is it?
So obvious, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've just been predicting it every single year, and nothing's come out. It's honestly frustrating. Like, they haven't even talked about it or even acknowledged that it exists. Rumor is they've been sitting on it for years and it's been done. I don't know if those are true, but there's also another way, and this has also been rumored, a new 2D Metroid. Maybe that's Metroid 5, and I hope it's Metroid 5, because I don't want a remake. I don't want a Switch port of Samus Returns. I don't want a remake of Super Metroid, because Super Metroid's already perfect. You can play it on your Switch already. Like, just play it there. And yeah, something Metroid. If it's one of those two, or maybe both of them, and most likely just one of them, I will be a very happy camper this year.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joey, on that. And also, looking in the past, like Metroid Fusion, and was it Metroid Zero Mission or whatever, the remake of Metroid 1, they came out fairly close together. So I could see Nintendo still relying on Mercury Steam and trying to keep that relationship going. And I say pump out, but it's been a while. Like, create another Metroid kind of back-to-back, fill that void. Now, if they get to create a new Metroid, or something more like, I don't know if they would remaster or remake Metroid Fusion at this point. We'll see.
That'd be neat.
But I'd rather have a Metroid.
I'd take that remaster though. I'd take that remake.
I know,
Metroid
I'd
Fusion.
take it.
I'm placing my bets on a Metroid Prime trilogy, I think. I mean, I'd love both, a 2D Metroid or a trilogy. But I think, especially if Nintendo has it and they've been sitting on it, or it's like relatively easy or not too time costly to put together, I think they would go for it, because in the past year, I think Nintendo's had a strange history with trilogies. I think 3D All-Stars did really well, and so that's definitely going to help. And then Pikmin 3 Deluxe, it doesn't sound like that game has done too extraordinarily, and I think it probably might have helped to re-release the first two games before then, or maybe have that just be a trilogy.
I did hear Pikmin 3 Deluxe actually did. It didn't do good at first, but it
picked up.
It picked up.
Good.
Okay, that's true. Well, I still think it would make sense for them to release a trilogy just to kind of get people to know more about Metroid Prime 4 or Metroid Prime before 4 comes out. And also, I think they would want to do that sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't want to have both of those really close together to like interfere with the sales of one another.
Exactly.
They'd probably want to do the Metroid Prime trilogy sooner rather than later, even if it takes a little longer to get 4.
Yeah, I heard some people say like they would want to do the trilogy, maybe closer to Prime 4, and I'm like, no, that's not a good idea. You need more time. People need time to play 3 games. Like, they're not long games, but there's still 3 games. And also, case in point, Bayonetta 1 and 2 came out on Switch right when 3 was announced, and now Bayonetta people have plenty of time to play those games.
At the same time, since we're basically talking about both Prime Trilogy and Metroid 5 or whatever this next 2D Metroid is, I'm pretty sure rumors about that game, the Metroid 5, have still been going on. I think at this point they're saying the game's like basically ready to go gold. Like, that's like nearly here. Like, that's practically going to be shadow dropped at this point, it sounds like.
Don't shadow drop it though. Give it advertising.
Well, no, don't shadow drop it. I'm saying it sounds like it's almost at the point.
I know. If we assume it's accurate.
If it is accurate, I'm not saying for certain, but it's a matter of, it's something people have been. It's not like a rumor that popped up randomly one day and then never again until like yesterday kind of thing. People have been talking about this for like over a year at this point, consistently. And
I remember the rumors starting with Paper Mario too.
Apparently they came from the same source, so that's why they think there's a lot of faith in this. And it would definitely be interesting to see it sooner than not, especially if it's supposed to be. I know a bunch of people were predicting we would see it back at the Game Awards because of these rumors, and even the people that were reporting on the rumors and who are going around saying it were the ones thinking we'd be seeing it really soon. So I do think, regardless of when they come out in comparison to Prime 4, I do think the Prime trilogy would be later in the year or early next year. Whereas Metroid 5 might be the focus for this year on Metroid if we do see it coming.
I wouldn't be mad.
I'd pick either, so.
There we go. Well, while we're talking about sequels to some degree, I predict that since it's been... I predict we will actually see the next Mario game this year. It won't release this year, but the next proper 3D Mario will be shown this year. Probably not until later in the year, after 3D World obviously has come out. But I do think Breath of the Wild 2 will be this year, so that's why I don't think Mario will compete with it. But I do think we will see it because it's been by the end of this year it will have been 4 years since its release.
So you're thinking like an Odyssey 2 is basically what you're thinking.
So I put Odyssey 2 in quotes, but I think it will use the Odyssey engine and maybe even some of the mechanics. But I feel like there'll be something else to it that will preclude it from being called Odyssey 2. I don't know what that is, but I feel like it's gonna be a little bit more ambitious than just like a level expansion to Odyssey. So I'm not quite sure.
I pretty much had the same prediction. A new 3D Mario is going to be announced toward the end of the year, but I did have it as Odyssey 2. I think I think it would be just like essentially a new planet, a new Earth with new kingdoms and bigger variety and new enemies as well to capture and everything.
And Delfino Plaza.
Delfino Plaza, yes.
Finally get in.
Wouldn't make any sense if it was on the other planet, but it'd still be great. But yeah, I mean, I'd love for it to be a new 3D Mario with new mechanics and everything, even if it does use some of the elements of Odyssey. But I think an Odyssey sequel would probably make more sense, especially if it's still slated to be on the Switch. It'd be sort of like a Galaxy 1 and 2 situation.
Right.
That's sort of how I'm picturing it.
That's actually really interesting too, because with how long it's been, it does beg the question of if we get another 3D Mario, is it going to be like the sequel to Odyssey, like Galaxy 2 was the Galaxy 1, or is it going to be the next big 3D Mario entry, like the jump from 64 to Sunshine to Galaxy? And it kind of could be either way. It could go either direction, which is really fascinating. And it's actually kind of funny you bring this up, because I think it wasn't even a week ago that I was talking with some friends about like what we want to see from a new 3D Mario. And someone just tossed out the idea they would love to see if a new 3D Mario went the route of Crash 4 in terms of like all these different dimensions and all these different things going on that just constantly change things and visuals, and like that would be really cool. I've been thinking about that more now.
All this interdimensional and time travel, same with Ratchet and Clank, like
Yeah,
just go all in on that. Yeah. Maybe Cappy could act as the portal to other dimensions. I'm trying to think of maybe he can open it. I don't know. I'm just trying to think how that could even work.
A new
Mario,
character that's literally a floating portal with eyes.
There we go. That's it. The Cappy can capture for some reason.
And that does sound like it would make sense as an evolution of 3D Mario, because I mean, it seems like 3D Mario's done everything. It's like gone tropical and it's gone to space. How about different dimensions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like Odyssey took it a step back in a way where it's like, we're just going to different regions, different kingdoms on a planet.
One of the dimensions is Green Hill Zone.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, dimensional hopping for a Mario game. So I would love to see what Nintendo could do with that idea and concept, and just probably go nuts with it. So I'd also be happy with the Galaxy 3. I'm just curious to see where Mario goes next in proper 3D. That's not a re-release. All right, any other predictions?
Yes. On the topic of Mario.
Yes.
I think we're gonna see a sequel to Super Mario Party. I think we're gonna see Super Mario Party 2.
I had that.
That was my next prediction.
Great. All right, I had to get it out there before someone else took it.
Good.
Yeah, I think there's a lot.
How's it feel, Chris? Having all your predictions taken.
I think there's a lot they could do with the Super Mario Party 2. I think they're probably going to call it Super Mario Party 2, but it's going to be way better than the first one. I wasn't a huge fan of the first Super Mario Party, or like the 11th Mario Party, however you want to say it. It was sort of a reboot in a way. I just wasn't a huge fan of the variety of boards and the boards that were there. I thought the tile-based structure kind of held back the creativity a lot.
Yeah,
and
it
I
felt
want
like an actual square board rather
Exactly.
than
And that
environment.
does sort of make it feel more like a board game, I guess, on your screen, which is fun in a way. But I just want these games to be wacky and fun like they were in the past, like some of the best entries are. Just go all in with it. And so building upon the base of Super Mario Party, I think would be awesome. It could sort of linger on Mario's 35th anniversary, sort of still tie into that, but it'd probably just end up being its own thing, unrelated. But I think it's about time. It's been 2 or 3 years. It's been long enough.
It's been the longest gap we've had for any Mario Party since DS to 9.
Which is surprising because I actually thought they would use this as a way to basically relaunching the series like they did on 64, where it was an annual franchise for a while.
I definitely think it was supposed to be, and I think I brought this up in a different discussion. I don't remember at this point. I think they wanted it to be, but I don't think the developers or ND Cube anticipated the Switch Lite. And I know that sounds weird to think from Nintendo not anticipating that, but I think Super Mario Party had been in development for a while, and I think the Switch Lite, because you can't play it on a Switch Lite, so it definitely doesn't feel like they accounted for that.
Well, not without
True.
getting extra Joy-Cons to play.
Well,
yeah.
not just extra Joy-Cons, but because you can't put a Switch Lite in tabletop mode, I think. So you can't actually. You need to get the extra Joy-Cons, and everyone has to crowd around a small screen. Then
Yeah.
it's just not considered optimal to play it. So I think they would need to change a lot to make it compatible with that kind of format too, which means they would end up needing to change a lot of the reliance on certain mechanics.
Yeah, that's actually something that I forgot about that I had thought of too. Was the Switch Lite factor is huge. You basically can't play Super Mario Party on a Switch Lite. And I was thinking maybe they could, to combat that, instead of trying to forcing people to get an extra pair of Joy-Con or get a pair of Joy-Con or anything like that, they could create a mode something like, I think it was Bowser Party in Mario Party 10, where a person with the gamepad had a slightly different role that took advantage of what the gamepad for what it is.
Yeah.
And they could do something like that where you've got up to 4 people playing with Joy-Cons on the TV with one copy of the game, and then someone else on their Switch Lite is affecting the game in different ways, but using as much as the Switch Lite can do. That could be a workaround for that.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting too, because Mario Party's always been known to have wacky side modes. Like even Super Mario Party did it. They had the rhythm mode, and then they also had the mode with the tanks and other things where you connect 2 switches together and draw and like connect both screens. I think they ended up using that again in Clubhouse games.
They did,
but Mario Party's always been this weird thing of like, what if we make it a slight tech demo? And I would love to see them do that, because that would be a way to connect a Switch Lite to a dot Switch in a way that we haven't seen before, where you essentially use it like a gamepad. And that would be really cool, actually, which I can totally see them doing.
I think...
Yeah.
I think a Super Mario Party 2 makes a lot of sense. I think the first game had a pretty good base for where to launch it from, and I think it's kind of similar to the original Mario Party, where the first game was good, especially novel for the time, but the second game really just took that idea and ran with it. And I think they can do that this time. One thing that we haven't touched on, though, that I would love for them to bring back from Super Mario Party was the river mode. I love the river mode, where you're all in the same raft together, trying to compete, or actually not compete, you're actually helping each other. And I thought it was really fun. Like, my parents are playing a Mario Party game, and they otherwise wouldn't. So I'd love for them to build an idea and do more with it, and probably just refine it. So, and also add online, add proper online.
Yes.
Let me play with my friends in a board game.
Even if it's just friends only, that's fine.
Exactly. I can work with that. So I think it would make sense for like a Q4 release. That could be like a good holiday title, like a good family, good time for the family to get together and play Super Mario Party 2. So
I really hope so. I've been missing Mario Party since after Super Mario Party came out, and I was so sure we would start seeing news of 2 like a year later, and it's been 2 years now.
Well, I thought we'd get
DLC.
I thought we would get DLC first, but it never happened.
Yeah,
So,
it was odd that they didn't. I feel like that's just because they just immediately moved on to working on the next one. But main thing is, I hope it keeps, for the most part, the same cast. We don't really need Pom Pom back, but I hope it keeps relatively the same cast.
The cast is the part I care the least. I care the least about the cast. Who cares?
That's fair.
Let's get Mario and Donkey Kong in there. That's all we need. Tom, what's your next prediction?
So my prediction, I'm thinking that Ring Fit will get another update, but not like a major new quest or something, maybe a small quest. Or I'm thinking that maybe they'll try to tie it into some sort of mobile app to use when you can go outside again, hopefully, being if vaccines work out.
That's a really interesting idea. I actually had Ring Fit on here as well. Though I was predicting more of a sequel, but by that I think it would be more of a standalone but expansion. Well, not fully standalone. It would be an expansion you could buy for Ring Fit Adventure. I love your idea of incorporating an app because that's something like Apple just released their Apple Fitness Plus, I think, which tracks your heart rate and stuff, and as you're doing these predetermined workouts. I think it'd be fun to Nintendo further ventured into that by letting you go run around in real life and have that translate into the game, as a mechanic. But yeah, I think we'll get some kind of expansion. Ring Fit was too big for them not to follow up with, and I think having it come out again near the end of the year would be smart to reinvigorate interest before the new year and for the holidays, which is when people are looking to get back into their fitness routine. And I know that now that I finally returned to Ring Fit, I'll be wrapping up that adventure probably within, I would think, a month or two. We'll see. Then I'll be wanting to see. Then I'll be wanting to know what's next. I want to see more from the game. So
yeah, I
Give
don't.
us-
right.
Give us the ability to wander around actual areas from other Switch games.
I've been wanting a Breath of the Wild expansion for a while. That'd be great.
Link's Ring Fit training.
Yes, make it happen. You could use the ring to shoot arrows or whatever.
Yeah.
You didn't even have an arrow
Yeah.
exercise in it. So, all right. Other predictions?
Do we or do we not see Pikmin 4 or a new
No.
Pikmin?
No.
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 Too soon after 3 Deluxe.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I think 3D Deluxe, yeah, I don't think so. Not this soon. They may be using that to gauge whether there's interest. I don't know what happened to Pikmin 4. I don't even think it's in active development right now.
I don't think
So-
Miyamoto
I-
knows what happened to Pikmin 4.
I genuinely
I don't think
think
anyone
Pikmin
does.
4 was Hey Pikmin.
They
That-
confirmed it wasn't, though.
Oh, they confirmed it wasn't?
Yeah, I think when Hey Pikmin was announced, they interviewed somebody at Nintendo, and they asked about, is this Pikmin 4 Miyamoto mentioned? And they said no, so. Who freaking knows? Maybe we'll get Hey Pikmin 2, guys!
Oh my god. All right. Any other predictions for anything else?
The literal only other bullet point I have on here is I think Monster Hunter Rise is gonna get a bunch of Nintendo crossover content, but that's not new. Most Monster Hunter games get things like that. Usually it's Capcom, but because it is a Capcom game. But I think Generations Ultimate got I think it got Isabelle as the little companion character that can follow you as a skin. It got Wind Waker, Link. I know it got Breath of the Wild looks.
Did it
Breath of the
ever
Wild would be a
did it ever
perfect fit
get
for this
Samus
one.
I could see them. I think it did. I don't remember all the stuff, but I could see it getting starting off with Zelda content, for example, like starting off with some Zelda DLC expansions to it, where a bunch of costumes and visuals tied to the Zelda series get added, and same kind of thing maybe for Metroid or some other Nintendo games later on. But that's a small thing.
Well, I have a prediction for Nintendo Switch Online. Two predictions, actually. First one is that I think N64 games will finally come this year. But
No
it won't
way.
it won't be toward the end of the year. We're going to get the Zelda Collection. There's a Zelda Collection that'll come out first. That way you get all those initial sales. But then we'll get the N64 Switch edition. Because we had SNES added. Was that 2019 when that was
Yes.
added, or 2020? Yeah,
It was
2019.
it was 2019, I believe, wasn't it?
So we're overdue. Yeah, we're overdue for a new
Yeah.
system, and I think it's time. N64 will be amazing, especially with the online capability now of the whole interface they use.
True.
Where with it being the fun machine, we can all play retro Smash Brothers together, or Mario Kart 64. I think that'd be great.
that would be
That'd be
good.
So
awesome.
I think that'd be a good way of reinvigorating interest in the service again, probably for the holiday season, and somewhat related. I think they're going to add another new game on top of Zelda 35. I think we're going to get F-Zero 99. That's right. F-Zero's coming back, baby. 99 players all at once, all in a single race. This is going to be more direct competition, though. You can it's a death race. You can kill each other immediately if you want. And I think it'd be a lot of fun. So that's what I want more than anything.
Andre, why do you have to
What?
steal another one of my predictions?
Hey, I
was
put out a
literally-
couple of notes. I'm like, where are the predictions, everyone?
I kid you not. I
Get
kid you
mine.
not. 30 seconds before you mentioned F-Zero, I was thinking I should make a wild F-Zero prediction. Tom, you can go first.
Well, it'd be a great way to bring it back. It'd be a new way to push the series forward, which is why they're saying they haven't brought F-Zero back so far. And it makes sense for Nintendo to explore making online games. It's something that
Exactly.
could be super simple. Really, it could even be the N64 models, and I'm sure we'd have a ton of fun.
I'm fine with it.
Or the SNES models even.
Yeah, honestly.
They look good in the Smash Brothers stage, so
They
why
do.
not? But, yeah,
Yeah.
both models actually. So
What I was thinking, because I was thinking in my head, what's a pie in the sky sort of prediction I can think of? It's been 4 years since Fast RMX on the Switch,
That's right.
and everyone's been, even myself, have been saying for years, why does Nintendo hire Shinen Multimedia to make an F-Zero game? Because they're already
too.
freaking doing it.
They already are.
They have the same announcer from F-Zero in the game.
they do.
It's just like, just give them
Yep.
some money and let them make an F-Zero game. You don't even need to charge full price. And that's the thing I think is also kind of struggling. I think that's another thing this franchise has been struggling with too, is figuring out how do we make this a full-priced sort of $60 game. Because I feel like nowadays when you have F-Zero clones, for lack of a better term, like Fast RMX and Redout, I think it's called, they're not full-price games. They're like $20 to $30 games. And I think my prediction, of course, is my crazy prediction is like, Nintendo finally hired them to make an F-Zero game for the Switch, and it's coming out this year. That would be just a totally awesome reveal for a franchise that has been completely irrelevant since 2003, I think. And yeah, just Nintendo, what are you doing? But would it be a $60 game? I don't know. It could be just a digital-only game. Could be a little... I feel like Nintendo would find a way to make it $60. They'll be like, we're Nintendo. We can do that.
I hate to pour cold water on your Shinen dream there, Joey, but it looks like, going by the Wikipedia page, they had a game the year after Fast RMX, and they have a game come... I guess that came out in 2020, just recently. So I don't know if that's enough time
Yeah,
for
the
them
tourist,
to...
didn't they?
The Tourist.
Oh,
yeah.
they did the Tourist. That's right. Man, I forgot that was them.
They could start development. They could be starting development at zero, but it might be a little while.
I feel like at
before
this
we
point,
see.
Nintendo never even wrote them a letter. Yeah, okay. I forgot. How big is that studio? If they...
Probably not that big. I don't
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
It's
also
called
don't know.
multimedia. Do they make movies?
We talked to them a little bit at some indie event. Tom, do you remember? You were there for that, I think. We were playing.
Oh
I
yeah,
think you were.
but I don't remember too many of the details of it. But
I don't know either. It's
Yeah, I
forever
remember
ago.
them. They were at the at PAX.
Oh, the PAX?
They flew in
Okay.
from PAX.
That was it. Yeah, I remember now. Cool. All right. Other predictions. Any final predictions here?
Mother 4. I don't know.
Yeah,
gonna
there
be
will
Mother
not
3.
be Mother 3 this year.
The revival
no.
of Alpha Dream. No.
I mean, if you want to be bold, like we did see Nintendo finally translate the original Fire Emblem for America. Is there any chance we'll see something like that, like Mother 3, perhaps?
Let's hope. I totally forgot about the new translation for Fire Emblem, so...
I think we could see that for other Fire Emblems. Maybe near the end of the year they announced they're doing it for another classic one, but that's the most I would see alongside there.
Finally, we get an English localization of Three Houses. Just what I've been waiting for.
I legitimately do hope they continue that initiative, you want to call it that. Like, now we've had Star Fox 2, which we never thought we would see the official live day come out.
Yep.
We've had now Fire Emblem being translated for North America, or English, I should say. I hope they keep doing that. I love this idea. Like, I love them reaching their back catalog and letting audiences that missed it originally finally be able to experience these games. Mm-hmm. And I hope Fire Emblem's successful just for that reason, so we see more of it. I don't have any specific predictions for what it could be, but I hope it continues.
My joke prediction, by the way, about Alpha Dream is just because I love the Mario and Luigi series, and I would love to see
Yeah.
them do more, but I don't think we'll end up seeing anything of that this year. No.
Alpha Dream's dead, aren't they? Yeah. I don't think so. I think Mario and Luigi's gone for a while. Yeah. All right.
Well, Mario and Luigi are going to die on March 31st. We know this.
That's true. They're already gone. Or they will be very soon. So better get that game out quick if they are working on, or if anyone's working on it. All right. Any final predictions or thoughts you want to get out there, everyone, before we wrap it up? I
don't think we'll see a Switch Pro this year. I don't think we will. I'd love to be wrong, but I really don't think they're.
All right.
Especially after this, the really good the really good isn't even going to describe how good the sales have been for the Switch this year. I think they're gonna take their sweet old time with that.
I wasn't sure how much we want to get into this, but we touched on the Switch Pro a surprising amount in a previous discussion.
Yeah.
But there's been so much smoke that, I mean, at the very, like, it's obviously in development, whatever the next Switch is, whether it's a Pro or 2.
Yeah.
I actually will say the opposite, though. I think we actually may see it this year. I don't know fully when, but I think it could be, as I said earlier, paired with Breath of the Wild 2. But I think what this is going to be more of like an iPhone type thing, right? Where it's not or also like the PS4 Pro, where it's not replacing the current system. The current system will continue to work just fine. It's far too successful, as Joey was saying, for them to cut it off. That'd be dumb.
So it's, like so it's more like the new 3DS? Or?
I mean, yes, but no, because I felt like the new 3DS didn't even fully know what it was.
It didn't. Like, it had a few exclusives, but it didn't help the system at all.
It didn't really run other things much better or better at all, like with maybe an exception. So I think the Switch 2, or Switch Pro rather, will have a much clearer vision to it. It's like, hey, Switch play. It's just another version of the Switch. Plays all the same games like the Switch Lite, but it'll play them a little bit better than before. It's possible we'll see some exclusives. I imagine there'll be more third party starting off. Like whatever the next Doom is, for instance. Probably not gonna be running on base Switch. But yeah, I think there's a chance we'll see it. We'll see it this year, or at least learn of it. But I think we could see it, but I do think it'll be much smarter, much better handled than previous, handheld upgrades.
What's it going to be?
The DSi.
Mm-hmm. What's going to be called? The Nintendo Switch I? If they're going to do Nintendo Switch
yeah.
Lite, then they're going to do that.
Switcher.
Switcheroo.
Heavy.
Switch heavy.
Yeah.
Yes,
Switch
please.
Dark.
Please call it that.
The Pro. I mean, to be honest, the Pro probably is at this point in time the clearest name that could go with it. People know what it means on the PS4. They know it's not replacing the PS4.
Yeah.
They may try to avoid it only because of Sony has done a good job of taking it over for themselves. But I think Apple uses that same terminology too, and that works fine for them
True.
as well. So I think it would probably be the smartest way to go. If that's how they're positioning it, not as necessarily a successor or replacement, but as an upgrade. Going the Pro route is the way to do it. So it's the clearest, quickest way without having to make it marketing, making it a marketing fight and to make it clear. So,
Right.
Yeah, don't call it the new Switch.
That would
please don't.
Got it.
call it-
Got it. We're calling it the Switcheroo.
Don't call it the Switch One U.
When you said switcheroo, I now want like a Dunkaroos crossover. I want you to be able to win the next Switch with a box of Dunkaroos, which just came back recently, so it's a perfect timing for it. So
perfect.
All right, everyone. Now that we've got our predictions out there, which obviously most of these probably aren't going to happen. I would love for them all to happen. That'd be amazing. How are we now feeling though in 2021? Any better than we started this conversation like 3 hours ago in part one?
A little bit.
Like, are you feeling good now about 2021?
I'm still on the side of caution.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna get my.
I mean,
hopes
we
up.
did say we're probably not going to be seeing much or anything in Metroid Prime 4, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
Probably the most accurate prediction we have here.
But every Nintendo Direct, everything, I'm just going to be like, where's the trilogy? Where's the trilogy? And if the Direct doesn't have the trilogy, it's automatically the worst Nintendo Direct I've ever seen. Every time. People on Twitter know this. I complain every time there's not a Prime trilogy.
I do think this year, it definitely excites me because I loved what they've been doing for Mario's 35th anniversary, for the most part. Because I think it's been a really nice way to celebrate
Besides
the series.
killing Mario.
Yes.
Anniversary.
And I seriously look forward to what they do for Zeldas. And that's why that took up a good half hour plus of this whole
It was
discussion.
like half our discussion, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
I want a Zelda show now.
Yep.
I wanted it before, and then I stopped thinking about it a bit, but now I want it again.
I want a Zelda movie trilogy directed by me. That would actually scare me. I would be like, oh, what do I do?
Oh god, what I got myself into? I think the Zelda 35th anniversary is really kind of what excites me. It's like Nintendo could go all in on this, and they very well may not too. It's Nintendo, you never know with them. Based on what we saw of Mario, I think there is big potential here. I really do hope we see that realized, because I would love to see Zelda kind of further broadened out with what they could do with it. They've gone kind of nuts with Mario, with movies and theme parks, Legos now. Let's see what they can do with Zelda, particularly with now the fact that Zelda's really more relevant than any time in recent years, with everyone caring now about Breath of the Wild, and that being just a super strong evergreen game, and Breath of the Wild 2 coming up, Age of Calamity recently being a big success. Let's see what else they can do with it. So could be an exciting year, but then every year could be an exciting year before it turns out being a middling year, so we'll see. So
Yep.
any other thoughts, everyone? Nope.
Good
All
night.
right.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, everybody.
All right, I think that's it. So thank you everyone for watching part 2 of our expectations and predictions and hopes for 2021. Here's hoping at least some of these come true, because I myself, I'm really excited for the potential of some of these ideas. But as always, if you enjoyed this discussion, consider subscribing and clicking that bell icon so you're notified of all of our new videos coming up. We'll have tons more, tons of exciting content for 2021, whether or not Nintendo does or not. Hopefully they do, because that enhances what we can bring you. And of course, everything else coming up with the following or this upcoming year as well. Thanks for watching. Catch you next year. Catch you next year. Catch you this year and next year. All right, bye everyone. Been so much talking.